And now we turn to Hurricane Milton. Thousands are making last-minute preparations ahead of the storm making landfall in Florida.
Right now, the potentially dangerous and catastrophic Category 5 storm is about 405 miles southwest from Tampa. The National Hurricane Center is predicting up to 15 feet of storm surge with sustained winds up to 160 miles per hour. So far, thousands have evacuated cities like Tampa, Fort Myers, and Sarasota off the state's Gulf Coast. Hurricane Milton is expected to make landfall tomorrow night or early Thursday morning.
Earlier we saw that exodus. What is that, I-75?
Yeah, that was I-75. And you know, the nightmare scenario is if this hits just north of Tampa, and that counterclockwise wave just goes right into Tampa Bay.
That is, and that's one of the things a lot of people have been talking about with that kind of cone of uncertainty, that it has that potential to go north or south. Some of the later models are trending it just a smidge south, which would be good news for most of Tampa Bay, at least as far as that potential to have all that storm surge pushed immediately into the bay. There's still time for that to change. That's not a guarantee at this point, but that does seem to be the trend. So that is potentially some good news. It really is not going to matter one way or the other. A few miles not going to make a huge amount of difference. This is going to be a devastating hurricane no matter the exact point that it makes landfall. It is right now a monster Category 5. Gusts up to 200 miles per hour and then sustained winds of 160 right around that eye wall. So it's moving off towards the northeast at 12 miles per hour. So it's right out kind of in the open Gulf of Mexico now. The Gulf is still incredibly hot. Water temperatures are in the 80s, so that's still a lot of fuel for this storm to feed off of. The expectation is still that as it moves towards Florida, it's going to weaken a little bit, but it's still going to be a very strong and devastating hurricane as it makes landfall. The 11 p.m. advisory now has that landfall just south of Tampa, which again could be slightly better for the Tampa Bay area, but it does have it as a Category 4 storm at landfall. It's really not going to matter if it's a low-end Category 4 or high-end Category 3. It's still going to have a just devastating impact on this area in terms of the wind, the rain, the flooding, and the storm surge, especially that this is going to bring. We have hurricane warnings in place for the majority of that Florida peninsula. Everyone has the potential to have winds gusting over hurricane strength as this moves through. So this is going to be moving through again later tomorrow and into Thursday. It's going to move east, exit the other side of Florida, still potentially as Category 1 strength, and then move out into the Atlantic. Not going to be a concern for us, but the majority of Florida will be impacted by this storm. We mentioned that storm surge. There's still a potential for 10 to 15 feet of storm surge from just west of Tampa down through areas like St. Pete, Clearwater, Anna Maria Island, all the way down through Venice, and even areas down towards Fort Myers could get up to 12 feet of surge, and that could get adjusted a little bit depending on exactly where that trajectory ends up tomorrow and into Thursday. So there's Milton spinning around in the Gulf far away from us. We are enjoying our high pressure and our fall-like conditions. We got just a few clouds passing through as we get into the overnight hours. Temperatures will be a little cool first thing tomorrow morning. National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. Some of our temperatures, especially away from the lake, could start off in the lower 40s, maybe a couple areas in the upper 30s. So a little chilly first thing in the morning. Still going to end up being a pretty nice fall-like day for us into Wednesday. We'll get more sunshine in the mix overall, so pretty bright. Temperatures end up in the lower 60s as we go through the second half of the day, so we're still below average. We're going to keep those fall-like feels around into Thursday. Pretty similar conditions. Chilly in the morning, low 60s through the afternoon. Good deal of sunshine. We're briefly back into the 70s on Friday, and then the rest of that Union Home Mortgage extended forecast looks more fall-like. More 60s for the weekend. We'll have an increasing chance for rain. Some rain will be needed at this point. We are going to see that chance into early next week, and then temperatures down into the 50s for starting on Monday.